Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the OBC podcast. I have my friend Don here, who is our youth pastor. Well, my friend of me, Don here, and we're going to be talking today about youth ministry and what's going on in Alive. So, Don, let's kick it off, man.
Let's kick it off.
Let's kick it off. So, what's something that's happened since we last spoke that you think is something that is exciting and encouraging?
Oh man, so much stuff. First thing that comes to mind, the very first thing that comes to mind is that we've had just actually since the second half of the school year, we've had 3 students that have decided to start a journey of faith. And I love that about our ministry. I love that I get the opportunity just to kind of see like the starting points. Yeah. Like, you know, kids ministry, youth ministry, like we get to plant the seeds a lot of times.
Yeah.
We don't sometimes get to see the harvest, which is totally fine, right?
Sure.
But to get to actually see some of our students, some of our middle school students be like, yes, this is real. This is no longer my parents' faith. This is no longer my friend's faith. This is my faith. I love that. And so we've got 3 students. We're actually baptizing them like this Sunday.
Yeah,
so
cool.
I am like just over the moon. Is that the right phrase?
Yeah,
does that sound right? I think that sounds
that's
right.
Good. That's it, yeah.
I don't
over
know.
The moon.
You know, I've been trying to change my dialect from old 40s guy dialect to young.
Bet.
I don't think that's not a thing anymore. That's not really a thing anymore. Yeah. I'm trying to think of something funny to say there, but it's just not.
No cap.
It's just like, no cap for real.
So, but that is super cool. How do you, what's your kind of process of walking students through taking what is their parents' faith and like getting them to realize that and then to realize like, yeah, there really is a need for genuine faith?
Yeah, well, one of the things that we try to do in Alive students is like we don't shy away from tough questions.
Yeah.
You know, I try not to give the quick like Bible answers like, oh, we'll just pray about that or go talk to your parents. Like if they ask real questions, I want to give them real answers.
Yeah.
I want to give them Bible verses that kind of back up what we talk. Everything needs to point back to the Bible. And that's one of our core concepts that we've kind of talked about a lot this year is like, man, you've got to dig into the Word. You've got to spend time. You've got to do the daily grind. Like you can't just be like showing up on Wednesday and that's it. And I think a lot of our students have really taken that to heart, and I think that's why we're seeing the fruit that we're seeing. Obviously, it's not anything I'm doing. Like I'm just trying to be faithful to what the calling that God has on my life. But like to see like consistency with our small group leaders, to see consistency in showing up, to see consistency in message of take it back to the Word, take it back to the Bible. Like what is God telling you through the people that He's put in your lives, and through the scriptures that we're reading through. So I think that's. Like in kids ministry, we spend a lot of time like just kind of like building those foundations, right? Yeah. Like we need to get these Bible stories down, we get these concepts down, we need to get this stuff down. And when they transition into students, because we've built that base in kids, we're able to kind of, the good foundations there, we're able to build off of that.
Right.
So we are able to spend a lot of time talking about like gospel and like, hey, here's some practical ways that you can share your faith. Here's some practical ways. And just through that, I think, just to kind of answer your question, like I think through the concepts and the ideas of, hey, your faith is your own, you're responsible for, being faithful to God.
Yeah, nobody else can follow Jesus for
you. Right?
Like,
one of the things I tell my kids all the time is like, hey, I'm not sitting in your third grade, your third period algebra class, right? You are,
right?
And you're there for a purpose, on a purpose. You've got to step up.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of our students have responded to that this year, and it's been so great to see.
That's cool. Yeah, I remember being in high school, being in student ministry, and how like the light bulb switched for me of like this. Yeah. Nobody else can follow Jesus for me. I've got to that's got to be my walk. And that's a huge turning point, so it's cool. Yeah. What, just for any parents who don't know, maybe for the 6th graders or 5th graders that are going to be moving up into 6th grade, what kind of format do you guys do for us Wednesday night?
Yeah, no, so our format, like we've kind of, we have 2 formats that we follow. Our main service is we start around 6. We do free dinner every week. Last night was pizza, and that's usually like our staple. But we do try to mix it up.
Yeah.
We do I think this week we're gonna do a cereal bar.
All right.
We're just gonna do a bunch of cereal
That's
and
delicious.
a bunch of different types of milks, and that's usually
who doesn't love that?
a moment of transparency. That's actually like on Wednesday night when I get home at like 9:30. That's usually my dinner is a bowl of cereal. Yep. It was Golden Grahams last night.
All right.
If you want to bless me some Golden Grahams, that's cool.
Yeah.
But then like 6:30 service starts. Sometimes we start with music. Sometimes we have worship later on. We usually do either a game or what we call highs and lows.
Yeah.
And the purpose of that really is not so much just to play a game, but just to kind of like get the kids to relax a little bit, get them to kind of like start building those relationships, talk to their friends a little bit, talk to some new people in their groups.
Loosen up a little bit.
Yeah, just to kind of get them prepared for the rest of the night. And then we usually do worship, 2 to 3 songs. We try to stay current with what's going on, and so what I love about our worship team right now is it's led by Nick Thompson, who is he's a product of youth groups, and just he has a
Dustin's youth group specifically.
Right. So he's got a real heart for this age group, and to see him like just kind of connect and blossom through this position that we created has been amazing. But one of the great things that he gets to do is kind of lead worship leaders and kids who have talents and instruments and singing to be able to have those opportunities, because we are basically a student band. We don't, unless someone like comes in one week and it's like, hey, I'm gonna help you out and play keys or play drums or whatever. Like we're all student. It's a student band, so. Yeah. Which is great, which is awesome. It's I love, like I don't want to say any names because I don't want to embarrass anyone, but I can think of like a couple of students like right now who are just kind of like, just watching them kind of grow and mature and understand that this is not just a performance. Like you don't have to hit all the notes right. You don't have to make sure you even get all the, the words in order, the verses, the lyrics. That's what I was thinking of. Lyrics.
I was gonna help you, but I let you.
Yeah.
I let you work that out.
Thank you for letting me stumble and show my humanism.
Yeah.
But like just to watch them go from like, hey, I'm just gonna only sing when I'm specifically told to sing and only do this one little part, and then just kind of stand there the rest of the time, to actually like help lead worship,
own it,
and own it and make it their own and put their personality into it, and just like that's one of my favorite parts of student ministry, is just watching our kids grow and mature in their talents and their faith.
That's cool. So we talked about like what you're encouraged about with the past. A lot of students are coming to Jesus. It's incredible. What's going on right now that you feel like is super encouraging? Yeah.
So a couple big things, and it's really more like with what's going on around and through the ministry, not specifically with the students. Like the first thing I think of are our small group leaders.
Yeah.
Like we are blessed to have the leaders that we have right now. They are consistent.
Yeah.
Like they're not paid. Like that's what's crazy about it. Like they're like, you've been in ministry long enough, right? Like you know how volunteer management goes, right? Like you've got you always have like a couple people who show up to everything, a couple of people that kind of show up, and a couple of people that want to show up to everything, but they're just too busy and they can't. We are really heavy on that. People who show up consistently. Like I've got 5 leaders that are just always there. They show up not only to Wednesday nights, they're there on Sundays. They go to our kids' events and stuff, like whether it's a show or a sporting event, like they're there and they know really their kids investing. And they're looking for opportunities to like pour into our students, and they're all mature Christians, right? Like they're all well seasoned in their faith, if you would. And so that's just such a relief on my part, knowing that if I've got 50, 60 kids in Alive, I'm not going to be able to make a personal connection with every one of them.
On every given night.
Right, especially the ones that are only there like maybe once a month. But our small group leaders, like they are able to do that. Yeah. And we meet, like we're meeting next week, and one of the first questions I ask is like, hey, what do I need to know what's going on? Yeah. Like give me some good news, give me some, whatever you're working through with your students, and it's it's just great.
Yeah.
Like, I am so blessed to have that team working with us and students.
Yeah, when I preached there a couple weeks ago, my favorite part was not preaching. It was, let's talk about this, let's sit down. So we had like 10 guys sitting in a group and just got to chat it over.
Yeah.
So it was really cool because there's more vulnerability there than obviously you can have in a big group. So that was awesome.
Yeah.
So what's something you're looking forward to in the future that you're excited about?
Man, we have got so much stuff going on. Summer's about ready to kick off, which for student ministries, man, we go into high gear.
It's so funny. Summer. Everybody else gets to relax.
Yeah.
Your job gets much harder.
It's way more going. Like, I've spent this week like just figuring out like what we're gonna do over summer. So for parents who don't know, if you are new to students or you've got a 6th grader this year. What we do is when the school year ends is we stop our normal Wednesday night service.
When is that happening?
That'll be at the end of May. It's whatever the May 20th, I think.
Last Wednesday of May.
Yeah, last Wednesday of May. Right now, that's when it is. My wife, who's the principal of OCP, she reminded me that's probably exam week. So we might not do it that week. But right now we are scheduled through May 20, whatever it is. I don't know what it is offhand. Anyway, but that doesn't mean that a life student stops. We have tons of stuff going on. I plan for every week that we don't have something big planned like camp or missions or VBS or something like that. I plan events during those weeks. Yeah. Sometimes they're free events, like we'll do a lake day. I'll pay for us to go to the springs. A lot of outdoor stuff, actually. That's fun stuff. We're going to do a movie night this year. But we also do a couple of paid things, like we'll go bowling, we'll do roller skating. The kids, they don't understand what's going to happen, but they really want to go paintballing this year. So I think we're going to do a paintball week, and they have no idea what they're in for because you give a student leader an opportunity to
take out that anger, baby.
To to shoot their kids. We're going to take advantage of that. Yeah. So be praying for our kids now for that. Yeah. No, but we do all these like weekly events, and what I love about that is, there's a group of kids that'll be pretty consistent with it, but there's some there's vacations going on.
Right,
there's stuff going on. There's summer practices going on, whatever it is, and so we can't show up to everything, and that's totally cool. Like this is a low pressure. Like if you like, I want your kids to come. Yep. I want your kids to come to everything and be a part of it because this is the community building. Yeah,
it's so cool. You're building community during the summer to like see missional work and all that, during the year.
Yeah, and these are the memories. Like they're gonna remember getting lit up by their student pastor for paintball. Yeah. Like they're gonna remember like hanging out and like going to the springs. Like I love it. The first year we went to the springs, like the students were like, "This is dumb. What are we gonna do? Why are we gonna do this?" They didn't know. Like a lot of them had never been.
Okay.
So it was just like, oh, I don't know. Like this is gonna be like, what do you mean? We just float in the water? Like it's gonna be cold.
Yes, it's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Like when we left, they were like, wow. Yeah. Like can we go next week kind of thing. And so it's one of the highlight like events of the summer now, and we kind of do it towards the end. It's a Floridian
rite of passage. You got to do it. You got to go to the springs.
And it's like it's not a huge springs. Like we always go to not Rock Springs, Blue Springs up in Volusia County, and it's a small run, but it's so cool. Like it's just fun. There's a nice big area. Like anyway, I would encourage our parents because students oftentimes are gonna be like, no, I don't want to do that. And it's not because they really don't want to do it. It's just because they're worried that their friends are going to be there. Like, just show up. Like, you're going to make friends. You're going to have a good time. It's going to be fun. I usually bring all the kids back at the end of the event, so it's a good thing all the way around.
Yeah. Okay. So, is there any mission stuff we need to know about?
Yes. So we've got a couple of big things. So those weeks, like I just talked about, those big weeks where we're not doing a weekly event, we've got a couple of really big things that we do. One, we've got camp, which I'm super excited about. Man. I've been praying a lot. It's been on my heart since last year. We took 50 kids, 45 kids last year to camp, and that was great. That was amazing, and we had a super awesome time. I could tell you the testimony of each and every one of those kids, which is such a blessing.
Yeah.
Right. What I realized after camp is that I think we were missing a part of the camp experience. Where, the gospel is very, very clearly preached during that week. The idea of starting your journey of faith, the idea of making your faith your own, And I can think back, I'm sure you can, I mean, you've been to lots of summer camps, right? Like you can think back to times where kids, maybe you, maybe whoever, like have given their life to Christ during camp.
Yeah.
And so I really wanted to be intentional with that time. And so we've cut off a few spaces that we're reserving just for students that I can invite, like students who don't normally go to camps.
Right.
People are like, when I talk to them, like, what is summer camp? And I
Right.
love that question, because I can be like, no, you don't understand. Like, this is great.
Uh-huh.
So I've gotten a great response. The last couple of weeks, I've really been pushing it. And before this started, I was just sitting down writing a list of all the students, and I've got like 10 to 12 kids on that list that are like possibles.
That's great.
And 4 that have said yes. And so this is like, I'm really expecting God to do some amazing things over this camp. It's the first week of June. It's June 3rd through the 7th. We leave on Monday. We get back on Friday. And like the cost of camp, like that includes everything. Like there's no like, yeah, hey, you got to buy lunch during the week. Everything is covered under that. And so I'm really
How long do they
excited
have
about
to respond? Like make a
for
decision?
by Monday.
Okay.
so the campus put a deadline on me like May 1. I've got to, like, if I'm not using spaces, I've got to give them up or they're going to charge us more money.
Okay.
So like, yeah, right away. And I'm sending out emails. I send out text messages. Make sure you're part of our text group. You can follow us at Alive Orlando on Instagram. That's kind of the main ways that we communicate is through our texting service and through Instagram. But the other big thing is Kenya. We've got 2 missions trips going on. One that's sponsored by Alive students. That's our trip to Kenya. We have another mission trip that Jordan Purdue is running, going to Costa Rica. That's in July. There are a few students going with him on that. But yeah, we're taking a group of 9 students and 2 adults to Kenya to go to World Hope Center in Nairobi. It's going to be an amazing time. I'm super excited about this. This will be my first time in Kenya.
Yeah.
And I've heard so many great things. And one of my favorite things about our mission trips is that I tell our director, our leader, whoever is in charge of that, like, I want to come home tired every day from working so hard and doing so much. And I want our students to be tired and just like mentally exhausted, physically exhausted. And I'm fairly confident that's going to happen this time too. We're going on mission trips to work. And we're going to be doing that, and it's going to be great, and I'm so excited about it. That is June 20th to the 29th.
Okay.
It's a 24-hour trip each way, so I'm praising God for that.
All right. Okay. Last thing, how can parents kind of help, get involved?
Sure.
What do they need to know?
So we've got a parent liaison, a room mom, whatever you want to call her, and if you are interested in helping out, just reach out to me, don@orlandobaptist.com, and I will get you in touch with Robin. And she's kind of coordinating like bigger things that our parents can do. Like we do, like about once a month, we've had parents like do dinner. They bring spaghetti or they bring pulled pork or whatever, and just serve our kids, and it's been great. We've got opportunity. I will definitely have opportunities for transportation over the summer for some of these events.
That's a big one.
Because sometimes we've got a lot of kids and they're coming from all over the place, and sometimes we can coordinate those guys up. We have a fundraiser coming up for our Kenya, for our summer mission trip for Kenya and Costa Rica. That's going to be May. I should have written that down.
Sometime in late May.
Yes, late May. But if you're part of our communication chains, then you'll get that. So if you are interested in maybe, I don't know, baking a cake for us. It's a cake auction.
Cake auction, okay.
Yeah, so if you want to do that, you can, again, reach out to me at my email, don@orlandobaptist.com. And I'll get you set up there. But I mean, obviously, the biggest thing that they can be doing is be praying for us.
Yeah.
It's just, one of the things that I think that we've kind of struggled with this year, or that's been an opportunity for growth this year, is just making Wednesday nights a regular priority for our students. Students are busy.
Yeah.
There is a lot of things pulling us in a lot of different directions. I mean, for me as an adult, I'm busy. But students, they've got, a lot of us are playing sports. A lot of us are on theater teams or troops. A lot of us are taking AP classes and above and dual enrollment. And so that's just really piling on to our students. And it's making it hard like they've got, even just last night, right? Like, hey, is so and so coming? No, man, they've got a project due this week, and so they are spending all night, writing a paper or doing whatever it is that they need to do. So like that would be like, as far as parents of partnership go, like that's a huge thing. Is like making community and the body of Christ and not neglecting to meet together like a priority. In our students' lives. But just be praying for our students. Like they're like, every time I go on like a public school campus, I'm just like my heart breaks for like what I see sometimes. It's tough out there. Like I thought my high school was tough and it was, but like these, like what our students are going through right now and the many ways that the enemy is attacking, like all the different fronts. Like they've got this window in their hand that is just so hard to battle against. And like I would just pray for our students, pray for these campuses. Like those campuses need Jesus, and our students, a lot of our students are going out into the mission field, into the Jerusalems of their world, and having to put up with a lot and having to deal with a lot and process a lot. We did a series, and I know we'll wrap up soon here, but we did a series back in February, our Ask Me Anything series, which is something that we do we did it last year, we do it this year, we'll do it next year, where I just allow the students, I'm like, just give me anonymous questions. Like write them down and give them to me. And I got like 35 questions back. And I mean, it'll break your heart, like some of the things that they wrote down. And then also during that series, we had a response night where it was like, hey, we all have that thing that we are dealing with, that stumbling block that we just as a Christian, right? We're no longer a slave to sin. We're now a slave to righteousness, right? Like, so we're no longer bound by our old lives, but our old lives are constantly pulling on us and trying to like that's one of the ways that the enemy attacks us. And so what I had our students do was just as a response is I had this mirror where you kind of look at yourself and then you write down whatever it is that you're struggling with. And it's just kind of this physical reminder of like letting go and giving it to God and realizing that you are a new creation, that you are no longer a slave to your past. It has no pull on you. It has no authority over you anymore. And the things that, again, just the kind of things that they wrote down on those mirrors was just, it's like, it's so heavy. And these kids are like, honestly, guys, talk to your kids, ask them questions and listen, and because there's stuff that they're struggling with. And parents, let me just say, and let me say this about that. If there is anything important, like anything that your students come to us, if they come to your lead, if their leader's going to come to me, and I'm going to get with you. I'm going to email you. I'm going to text you and let you know what's going on. I'm a parent, and a lot of times, like when we have these discussions, I tell them, hey, listen, I'm a parent, and I would want to know if you were my kid. And so this is done out of love. This is done out of a partnership with our parents, because I really want to like build that up, and I want that trust to go two ways. So
yeah, that's good.
So
it's good, man. Appreciate you doing great work. Parents, be praying. All right,
please.
We love you guys. See y'all on the next one.